Different professions call for different levels of risk. There's an old saying, no risk, no reward. Maybe that's the case in life, I don't know. It's a personal decision, one you have to make, regarding how much risk you're comfortable in taking with your life and your future and your money. It's a personal decision. What I do know is that there are different types of ambition, different types, and each has its own reward. The ambitions of a salesperson are different than the ambitions of a manager. The ambitions of a manager or an executive are different than the ambitions of an entrepreneur. The ambitions of an entrepreneur are different than the ambitions of an artist or a scientist or a teacher. With different levels of ambition come different levels of risk and different levels of reward. Salespeople are probably more able to handle risk than managers and professionals. And the higher the risk, the higher the earning potential. Entrepreneurs are probably even more risk-oriented. They have to be. An entrepreneur's ambition must overpower the risk of losing it all in an attempt to gain their dream. Your level of ambition may or may not be equated with your ability to take on risk. Most people can't deal with so much failure to reach success. There are only a few people, even among the most ambitious, that have the tenacity, intestinal fortitude, tolerance level to follow a risky ambition. Whatever the level of ambition, whatever the level of risk, there must always be the discipline to overcome the failures and see the end result. To keep trying until. Jonas Salk kept working through his failures until he developed the polio vaccine. Whatever your level of ambition, keep doing it until you get there. The riskier the ambition, the greater need for stability in your personal life. If you've got everything on the line in your business, you'll want to make sure everything is in line at home. John D. Rockefeller was very frugal in his personal habits, but he was willing to take risks, big risks, with investments and debts, risks that made his colleagues shudder. Remember, the first step is to define a plan. It may not be ideal, but you're taking the first steps. And when you follow your plan, the money you put away today will help you build your financial independence tomorrow. And with financial independence, the result of your ambition, the reward of your ambition, with financial independence comes freedom like you've never known before. Freedom and options. To live where you want to live, to do what you want to do, to go where you want to go, to drive what you want to drive, to support the causes you want to support. With financial independence comes the freedom of choice. You've got to worry some. But here's the best advice I can give you. Let worry alarm you, but don't let it conquer you. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, your daughter's not home yet, best you worry. In New York City, if you step off the curb, one of those yellow taxis is coming, best you worry. But here's the key. Let worry alarm you. Yes, but don't let it conquer you. I'm asking you to drive your worries into a small corner. I'm asking you to drive your indifference into a small corner. I'm asking you to drive your doubts into a small corner so that they don't flourish in the rest of the house. Here's the next one. Over caution. Being too timid to try. Too cautious to try. But that's what life is all about. You gotta take a chance. You don't have to be foolish, but you have to plant in the spring to have a harvest in the fall. Someone may say, well, what if a storm comes? What if a hailstorm comes and beats my crop into the ground? Here's what you must do. You gotta take a chance. Someone says, what if it doesn't work? I've got a better phrase for you. What if it does? Somebody says, what if I go broke?
That's one option. Here's the next one. What if you get rich? You gotta take a chance. Someone says, if you have a child, what if this happens? What if they get ill? And what if all this goes wrong? I understand that. What if someday they won't respect you? I understand the possibility. But you gotta take a chance. Someone says, isn't marriage a little tricky? Yes. But you gotta take a chance. Take a chance and step out. Make the note. The same wall that keeps out disappointment keeps out happiness. You gotta take a chance. Move out into the day and take a chance. Move into someone's life and take a chance. Conduct a meeting and take a chance. Tell the story and take a chance. Yes, someone may say no, but they may say yes. You gotta take a chance. I don't know how many are going to believe what I say today, and some may not believe, but I decided to come here and take a chance. Tell my story one more time. Do a meeting one more time and see what happens.
Over caution. Some people never will have much. They're too cautious. Now, you can also be too reckless, but you can also be too cautious. This is called the timid approach to life. And my caution was always the risk. Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. I could always ace myself out. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. If you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive. The Englishman says, well, if that's the way it's going to work out, let's give it a go. Right, that's what it's for. Give it a go. Somebody says, yeah, but I'm looking for safety and security. Fine, then huddle in a corner. We'll cover you with a sheet, bring you 3 meals a day. And we'll protect you, feed you, look after you, care for you. We won't let anything happen to you. And you'll probably live to be 100. The guy said, well, yeah, I'd live to be 100. But what a way to live. Right. What a way to live, safe and secure. Don't ask for security. Ask for adventure. Better to live 30 years full of adventure than 100 years safe in the corner. And see, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live.
I've got a good phrase for you to jot down. You cannot drift to the top of the mountain. If you want to see the view from the top, you have to climb. You have to climb steady. You have to climb true. You have to climb consistently. You cannot drift. You cannot say, ho hum, oh, maybe it'll work out. I've got my fingers crossed. That is not a good policy. It is not a good philosophy. If you want values, you've got to work for them. If you want to see the view from the top, you've got to steadily climb. So I'm asking you to fight indifference. Don't let it be part of you. Resist it with all of your ability. Just because spring comes is no sign you're going to look good in the harvest. You must take advantage of it. Springtime now is not very long. In space language, we call it the window of opportunity. When they get ready to shoot the rockets off into space, there's a certain period of time where it's time to go. If they don't go when it's time to go, they have to wait for another cycle of time to pass before it's time to go again. Spring doesn't last all summer. Spring doesn't last all year. It's usually a brief period of time. So make this note. Learn to recognize the spring, and then learn to recognize the urgency of taking advantage of the spring. Also, you must get busy on all of your springs. There's just a handful of springs that's been given to each of us. I just lost my father a few weeks ago. He lived to be age 93. But it seemed as though his life still was short, even with 93 years. I wanted a few more years, but I guess if you had 200 years to live, you would want a couple of more. We always wish for those extra years, but 93 years for my father seemed like a very brief time. And life is fairly brief, short. We've just got a few springs. Sometimes people make the remark, I've got 20 more years. And here's the real truth about it. No, you've got 20 more springs. 20 more chances at a springtime. So here's what you must do. Take advantage of every... Don't let the opportunity slip through your fingers. The opportunity to speak to someone. The opportunity to conduct a meeting. At the longest, life is brief. Take advantage of every opportunity to be with your family. Every opportunity to be with a friend. Learn to value life in all of its precious moments. We call these moments of opportunity. The moments don't last forever. My presentation is not going to last forever. This day is not going to last for the next 6 months. It's only going to last for a little while. But the little while that comes, put your heart into it. Lean into it. Like you're doing today, take notes. Lean forward. Get everything you can while the opportunity is here, because the window opens and then it closes. The meeting opens and then it's over. The day starts and then it concludes. So every time the sun comes up, take advantage of that day. Every time somebody presents themselves, take advantage of that opportunity. Every time you have a chance to do like I'm doing here today, to tell your story, do it, and tell your story well, put your heart and soul into it, because life is brief at the longest. None of us lack the capacity. We have far more capacity. Than we have time to take advantage of. I do read a record where it says all that time ago, some people lived to be 700 years, 800 years, 900 years old. I feel a little shortchanged when I only have the chance maybe to live 70, 80, 90, 100 years. When all that time ago, the record says, some lived to be 700, 800, 900 years. It seems like it would take 7 or 8 or 900 years to tap the full extent of our capacity, let alone 70, 80, 90, 100 years. But here's what I'm asking you to do. Get busy. You've got more brain power than you've used so far. You've got more potential than you've used so far. You've got more strength than you've possibly used so far. No telling how many languages you can learn, no telling how far you can go, no telling how strong you can get until you get busy working on yourself and see if you can't tap all of your full potential. People might have put you down in the past. I'm telling you, those days are over. People that have told you you're too short, people that have told you you're too tall, you're too old, you're too young. I'm telling you, the old idea about your limitations of the past, those days are gone forever. There's an interesting phrase from an ancient prophet, and it says, "In due season, your harvest will come." First, harvest cannot come unless you're due. Harvest does not come to those who did not plant all those months ago called the spring. Harvest does not come to those that hope. Harvest does not come to those that wish. Harvest does not come to those who have their fingers crossed. Harvest only comes to those for which it is due. Harvest only comes to those that have planted, that did the job, that told the story, that gave the invitation, that conducted the meeting. You've got to make the expenditure up front. But if you make the expenditure up front, before the harvest is there, you must see the harvest in your mind. You must anticipate the harvest because others have already received a harvest. It gives you hope. But we plant in the dark. We plant not knowing for sure. But if you'll take the risk and talk, if you'll take the risk and go, if you'll take the risk and serve, if you'll take the risk and give an opportunity to someone, if you'll take a risk and get on an airplane, if you'll take a risk and go see the people, if you'll take a risk and conduct a meeting, I promise you, as time unfolds, your harvest will come. If you put your heart and soul into it, your harvest will come.